Hello, everyone. I am back, unexpectedly back for day number 3 of the Purposeful Mom Challenge. So I had a little bit of a hiccup last week. So in sort of being totally open and honest with you guys, we had a quarantine situation at home. So it kind of threw me off track a little bit. But I am back today, and I actually have a topic that I wasn't planning on talking about, but now that I actually went through it in real time, it seems relevant to kind of bring this topic up and share with you some of what I've been thinking over the past week, because I know this challenge was supposed to be you setting up your goals for 2022. That's ultimately what we wanted to be thinking about, right? But in kind of realizing that, sometimes things throw us off track. Sometimes we can't control everything. Sometimes we just have to go with the flow, and we can't let things sort of derail our progress, right? So thank you if you're here live with me today. I appreciate you hopping on. Or if you're on the replay, please put hashtag replay in the comments so I know that you watched this day number 3 of the Purposeful Mom Challenge. Okay, now I think I'm set up and I can see your comments. So like I said, if you are watching live, let me know in the comments that you're here so I can say hi to you. If you are watching the replay, put hashtag replay in the comments area while you're watching the replay, and I will get started on today's. So we're talking about perfectionism today. And this is I feel like a big thing that comes up for a lot of moms trying to pursue their goals. So the definition of perfectionism is really the refusal to accept any standard short of perfection. Now, perfectionism is something I've truly struggled with throughout my entire life. I would say I used to, I'm sorry, my hair does not look the best today. See, I'm struggling with perfectionism right there. I'm like, it's not perfect, but I came on here anyways. But so I've struggled with perfectionism my whole life. I used to let perfectionism derail me, completely throw me off track. And honestly, some days it is still a big struggle for me. So I'm being very open and honest and raw with you because I want you to know there's nothing wrong with you if you still struggle with these things from time to time. Even if you are working on yourself, even if you have worked on your mindset and worked on, developing a plan to get yourself out of a negative headspace to move forward on your goals, there's still going to be stuff that comes up that you need to clear out. And that's just, I think, a part of being a human being, right? We're never going to be completely done with clearing these things out because we're a work in progress, right? But there's nothing wrong with you for being a work in progress. I just want you to know that. So like I was saying at the beginning of the video, just this past week, my plans got turned upside down. I had this whole 5-day challenge planned out to go live with you guys every day last week. I made it to Tuesday, and then Tuesday afternoon came, and I was struggling with some things that were going on in my personal life. And then Wednesday got notified that my daughter had to come home from school and go into quarantine because she was exposed to COVID. and so was dealing with that. So then she had to be on homeschool Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Monday. Luckily, she just tested negative, so she's in the clear now. But, that whole situation, it put a curveball in my plans for last week. So honestly, I sat with that for a couple days, and in the past, so this is where things have shifted for me personally, because in the past, I would have let something like that completely derail the progress I had made on having this challenge for you guys. I would have just quit. There had been too many times in the past where I would just quit when something got too hard. And I would just not continue on with it because something in my mind was saying, maybe you're not good enough for this. Maybe you're not meant to be doing this because the universe just threw this curveball in your face. And maybe it's telling you should stop. You should really not do this. But what shifted in me is that I have worked through mindset blocks, clearing mindset blocks to get to the point where I can now come back and say, hey, that thing derailed me last week, but I'm back again this week and I'm going to try again because this is part of my ultimate dream and goal, to be able to support as many women as possible follow and achieve their dreams outside of motherhood, right? So if I give up, if I let an event derail me, derail my progress, and I give up, how am I living in my purpose? And how am I supposed to be teaching other moms to not give up? So I just really wanted to share that with you today because it's completely normal to get derailed, but it is all about what you do after the derailment that sets you on your path forward. So that's why I changed the day number 3 topic to perfection in motherhood. I really think and I'm a strong believer that this needs to be addressed before we can attempt to move forward with declaring your intentions and setting your goals for 2022. Because you have to really sort of dig deep. And this is a hard one to dig deep on, but ask yourself, why haven't I been able to achieve my goals in the past? This is a really hard one to dig deep into, right? Because it forces us to examine, what did we let derail us in the past? What did we promise to ourselves that we were going to do, but we didn't follow through on? What are these things that we have to deeply, internally examine in order to start moving forward and setting intentions and goals that we're able to commit to because we know deep internally that we're going to take small action steps instead of getting wrapped up in the perfectionism of it all. So perfectionism in being a woman, in motherhood in general, in all of those things is the enemy of forward momentum. Perfectionism, like I said, had stopped me in my tracks so many times in the past that I now look it in the face and I might have to take a day or two to regroup, but I come back to what my purpose and passion is, and I carry on with that in small steps that I can achieve. So I'm an Enneagram 4, I'm an introvert INFJ, and if you're into human design, I'm a generator with sacral authority. You may not know what any of this means. I'm into different personality type tests, astrology, which is human design is a combination of astrology and other disciplines. So all of these bringing together, what I've examined about myself is I am programmed to fall into a trap of perfectionism, but I have the power to get out of it because it's just a matter of shifting it to I'm going to take imperfect action steps forward. In terms of the Enneagram, my type is constantly in pursuit of what is missing in my life. So there's this like sort of notion that something's missing. I must find what is missing in my life, must be true to my purpose and express my authentic self. I must create beauty and meaning for myself and for the world, which this totally embodies my purpose and mission with this platform, right? This is a good trait, but when taken too far, I could always be in search of the perfect way to find my purpose and never be satisfied with taking the little steps forward and achieving the small goals. I could get trapped in the searching rather than taking aligned action. And I don't think this is necessarily specific to a personality type, which mine are more prone to it, but we all have those moments where we could get trapped in the searching, in the analyzing, overanalyzing, in the education, in joining more classes and courses, getting another degree, rather than taking the aligned action steps forward, knowing that we already have everything inside of us needed to take those aligned action steps forward. So let me ask you a question. If you're on live, respond in the comments. If you're on the replay, feel free to answer and do #replay. How do you feel about perfectionism in your life currently? What is your perceived perfectionist tendencies on a scale of 1 to 10? Drop the number in the comments. I really want to know where all of you are at with your perceived perfectionist tendencies. And I really want to see what level you are at with this. So then going into comparison and judgment. Now, I've done a lot of deep reflecting about perfectionism, and what I've found is that comparison and judgment are truly drivers of perfectionism. And this is especially true for any of us who are working in the online space at all. We are looking at other profiles of moms doing similar things, and we are all comparing ourselves, right? One example that I give is, we've all been in the situation we're at a kid's birthday party or at the park or a school function or some other place where you're talking to other parents and you're asked, what do you do for a living? So this question, for some reason, it used to trigger me because I felt just kind of judged instantly. Like, well, if I put it this way, I'll sound like what I'm doing is more important or more, impressive, sort of. But if I put it this way, they're going to think, oh, well, yeah, well, that's just like a part-time thing or whatever. Like, that's not that impressive. As moms, as purpose-driven moms, it's hard not to compare ourselves to what all the other moms are doing for a living, or to tell ourselves what we do isn't good enough. So I know that I used to cringe when I got asked this question. Now I sort of reframe it as I am working in this online platform to support other moms and their goals and dreams outside of motherhood, and I explain it as my overall purpose of what I'm doing with my business. And I often get, oh, wow, that's wonderful. Like, more moms need that. So if you're looking for any tip to sort of reframe, try to think back to day 2 of the training and what did you say was your superpower? What did you say were your passions? And start thinking about how that feeds into your purpose and your mission behind what you're truly trying to do in your business or career, right? So this doesn't have to just apply to online businesses, but it could be your career too. Like, if you're struggling to explain what it is you do, and which is something that I want to dig deeper in with you guys in future trainings, in sort of how you can start to brand yourself as the expert in your superpower so you can really truly start to shine as yourself in the space that you're trying to be successful in, right? So that's something to consider for the future. But so this comparison and judgment cycle is a norm born out of a society that highly values the hustle culture. We think, or we might feel, or we've been told rather, that if we are not hustling, working 100-hour work weeks, then how are our contributions significant? How are we, contributing to our companies or businesses if we are not in this hustle culture? But I just had to put a hard stop to this type of thinking, and I no longer subscribe to the hustle culture. And I will tell other moms the same. You are doing absolutely the best you can with what you've been given in your unique situation. Your best looks different than the moms down the street because she has a different life than you. She has different things going on than you. Everybody has different factors that are going into their lives at any given time. So your best that you can do with the situation you've been given is uniquely born from your passions and strengths. So instead of feeling like you have to constantly compete with the mom down the street who is, just example, a lawyer working 100-hour work weeks, and she's juggling this and that, and you don't know what her life on the inside looks like, right? She might be internally struggling. Another idea, she might have extra help. She might have a house cleaner. She might have a nanny. Her husband might stay at home. You don't know what her situation is, right? So I think the point really of talking about this comparison and judgment is we need to pull in back to ourselves and really internally reflect on our inner world to share our gifts with our outer world, right? We have to let go of the comparison and judgment to start doing that. And another thing is to realize that social media, publicly displayed pictures, messages, comments, posts, it's all a highlight reel. It is not entirely 100% accurately depicting real life at every second of the day, right? It is a highlight reel. And I know you guys have probably heard this before, but I like to keep it very real. And I just want to remind you, social media is a highlight reel. What someone else is doing stop you from doing the thing you really want to do in your life. So even if your progress is slower than the other person that's doing something similar, or your progress is different, or you are thinking that you're not keeping up good enough, just stop. Like, know that you're going exactly the right pace you should be within your unique journey in this exact space and time. So there isn't something different you should be doing. You're doing everything you should be if you tune into your inner guidance system and reflect on what it's truly telling you to do. Now, if you are sort of stuck in the shiny object syndrome, drawing from all sorts of external sources, you might not be doing what you're meant to be because you are taking on too much influence from outside sources, which I've definitely fallen in that trap in my life and try to hone it back in and only sort of take advice from a couple mentors or podcasts or books at a time. And trust me, I am a huge personal development junkie. I read all the books. I listen to all the podcasts. I join, different groups, talking to different moms, and there is just a million sources of information coming in from everywhere. But if we really start to tune in first and foremost to our inner selves, our inner worlds, and then choose a couple of external sources that sort of complement our inner worlds, I think that is a better path forward than over consuming all of the information that's out there, because there is just so much information out there. It is just ridiculous. And sometimes it can be so overwhelming. So just hone that in, tune into a couple sources, listen to your inner self the most. So let me ask you, what is your relationship with perfectionism? Do you feel you struggle with it? Do you feel somewhere in the middle? Do you feel that you've overcome perfectionism and you now can operate in a way that is more aligned with your inner self? Just drop in the comments, what is your relationship? Where are you at with perfectionism? Or if you're watching this on the replay, do hashtag replay and then drop your answer in the comments. I'd really love to know and support you in whatever place you are at in your life with your relationship to perfectionism. Another reflection question to consider is, do you feel that perfectionism holds you back from reaching your goals? If you answer yes to this, I have something very special for you. Reach out to me, but I am working on resources to help moms with this. If you answer no, great. That is wonderful, because I really think that, we all can struggle with perfectionism from time to time, even if we feel like we've overcome it. But when it starts holding us back from our goals and what we want to achieve is when it becomes an issue. But there are definitely ways we can move past this and we can start to take those imperfect steps forward. So let me ask you, what does taking imperfect action forward look like for you today, tomorrow, next week, next month, in 2022? What does this look like for you truly? Taking imperfect action is what is going to drive you forward towards reaching your ultimate goals. And I have been through this. I know that I get further when I take imperfect action than when I get caught up in perfectionism. So this conversation really needs to happen with yourself. This is an internal conversation you need to have with yourself before you even commit to any goals for 2022. Because I want you to get in the mindset that you can and you have the ability to take imperfect action. And ultimately, it will all be okay. You don't have to have everything figured out in order to take action. You really don't. And I know a lot of moms struggle with this. We want this to be perfect and we want it to be in a perfect plan, especially if you're more of a type A personality type, right? But you really don't have to have everything figured out in order to take a baby step forward. In order to take that next small action step forward, you don't have to have your whole life figured out, right? Sometimes we get way far ahead and we're like, but I don't know what I'm going to be doing next year, and I don't know this and I don't know that. The first step to setting those goals that we're actually going to start intentionally following through on is setting small actionable steps forward. Bite-sized steps that we can start to apply towards the bigger goals. So what are your 3 imperfect action steps you're going to take this week? I really want you to put them in the comments. If you're on here live, put them in the replay. If you're on the replay, and do hashtag replay. My 3 imperfect action steps this week will be, and I will come back and follow up with you in the comments. And I really want to cheer you on and make sure that if you have a goal in mind, that you're taking these imperfect action steps forward. So just keep in mind, these are imperfect action steps. This could be something as small as creating a Facebook business page for your new business idea. This could be something like purchasing a website domain for your business idea. Take the next 3 imperfect action steps forward and let me know what yours will be in the comments so I can support you in your imperfect action steps this week. Hi, Sammy. Thank you for joining. Yes, would love for you to catch the replay from the beginning. We're talking all about perfectionism today. And so if you could put together an imperfect plan to pursue your big dreams in 2022 and beyond, what does that actually look like for you personally? This is a sort of deep reflection sort of question. So if you are feeling up to it, take this question and journal on it later. What does your imperfect action plan look like? What is one of your main goals that you want to take imperfect action steps towards next year? And I'm also putting together coaching and resources to help you pursue your big goals in 2022 and beyond. And part of these will be taking imperfect actions and challenging you to do things before you're ready and to not have everything figured out yet before you take the next step in the direction of your dream. Because I think I'm misquoting probably, but the path will unfold in front of you as you start walking. I think it's a quote by Rumi, but sometimes we get so caught up in, I have to have the whole path figured out before I can even start. But the truth is that with most big goals, big things we're trying to achieve in life, we really have to start before we're ready. And taking the first step will lead us to the next step that's right for us in our individual unique path. And then taking the next step after that will lead us to the next right step. And our unique individual road will unfold in front of us as we start taking that journey. It's not something that we can create entirely ahead of time most of the time, especially in the creative space. If you're looking to create any type of business online, you have a creative pursuit that you're doing, this isn't something you often can figure out from the beginning, right? It has to be an unfolding process. So taking those small baby steps forward, those are the keys that are going to drive your goal achievement in the next year. And then I also wanted to know, so if you can drop in the comments, what would benefit you most from a coaching program? Is it accountability? Is it a blueprint for creating and following through on your goals? Is it more coaching on taking imperfect actions and overcoming perfectionism? Is it confidence building? What is it that you truly need so I can support you moving forward? I really want to create resources that are truly going to be beneficial for you in this space in the Moms with a Purpose group. So please let me know, give me your feedback. Let me know what would support you most in 2022. And then your homework, take those 3 imperfect actions this week that will get you closer to your goals. Sit down and really determine what those 3 imperfect action steps will be for you this week. And I know we're coming to a time where it's really crazy. Things are busy for the holidays. Our kids are going to be home a lot of the time over the next couple of weeks with us. So this isn't a time for like major big actions, right? But we could take 3 small imperfect actions that get us closer to setting up our goals for success in 2022. So I really want you to think about what your 3 small imperfect actions could be to get you closer to your goals for the next week. And let me know, come back into the comments and tell me what 3 imperfect actions you are going to take and tell me when you've accomplished them. And I will follow up with you for accountability. I will follow and see if you followed through on them. And I will ask you if you need any help figuring out what your imperfect action should be. But I really just want you to take away from this today, this impromptu live that I didn't really plan to do, but had a little extra time. So I took an imperfect action step there, right? So I'm living what I'm saying. So let me know, what are your 3 imperfect actions? And then this week, I'll be wrapping up the Purposeful Mom Challenge with really looking at goal setting for 2022 how you can define your own version of success, and how you can start truly working on that plan to set yourself up for your own version of success in 2022 instead of someone else's version. Get away from the hustle culture and truly start to deeply reflect and build your plan based on your inner guidance and your intuition, what you're being called to do, and in what methods you want to do it, instead of taking on all the outside influences telling you what you should be doing. So this is really just some digging deep intuitively into your inner self to determine what you really want to be doing in 2022. So if you are at all interested in working together further, I am offering some coaching packages in 2 or 3 sessions to start planning out your 2022. You can PM me for more details, and I will see you on the next day of the Purposeful Mom Challenge. It's probably going to be a little fluid. I'm not exactly sure when it will be scheduled yet. It'll just be based on what's going on. Like I said, I'm taking imperfect action, just trying to show up for you guys to help you transition into 2022 in a way that feels good for you. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And again, if you watch the replay, do #replay, answer the questions in the comments, and let me know. Please post your 3 imperfect actions for this week. So I will see you next time. Thank you.